Contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. It appears that we are back and we are ready to roll. Sorry we had some tech difficulties. Again, chat, let me know for sure if it sounds better. But coordinating stuff with the station, big shout-out to Reed and Chase back there helping get everything situated. But we both reset our systems, and we're all good to go. Let's pray. So, hey, that's all. Hey, all it is, some Georgia fans trying to mess with the system. That way we can't get the word out. That's what that is, Chase. All and Reed, all good though. All right. So before we had that issue, we were talking about the video from Josh Pate's college football show, good friend of our show, and Carson had tagged us in this. And I want to talk about it again today. We're going to give our final thoughts, put a bow on everything, but I want to actually go to some other people, get some other perspectives. And so here we go. This was Cole Kublik and Josh Pate discussing it. Let's hear what they had to say on their final thoughts on the Alabama-Georgia matchup.
Real talk here. I heard you and McElroy pretty much all week talking about Georgia-Bama. We talked about it all week here. There's this thing that sometimes happens. You said this. I perfectly agree with you. I align with you. There's this thing that happens where people get this idea in your head, like if you're Alabama, well, we got to run the ball for X amount of yards or we're not going to win. And then conversely, I've got games like Penn State and Oregon. Penn State ran for 297 on Oregon in the Big Ten championship game and lost. So it's not like a unicorn of a number out there. But you made the point. You've kind of made it on the show already a couple of years, but it really hits home, I think, this week for Bama, that there are multiple ways to look at them gaining rushing yards that don't always mean, here, Jan Miller, run this ball as far as you possibly can. So take me down the road, just philosophically, of what you think Bama actually needs from the run game, how that's accomplished, how they go about winning this game if they do.
I'd say, I think first it depends on definition of run game. If it's yours where you're going there in agreements with McElroy and I, when you see a running back catch the ball out in the flat, that's an extension of the run game. That's essentially a toss sweep. And I think Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb look at that as we're going to get the ball wider, faster, with a better opportunity to get north and south and make a play in space than if we were to toss this thing out there. It also gives you the option of throwing the ball down the field on that play. Therefore, perimeter defenders, alley defenders, deep defenders have to stay there and play other routes. They can't come attack the run the way that they would if you turned and tossed it or handed off on a stretch zone. What people don't understand about this offense, Josh, is that the running back is often the initial read, the primary read, so they can get the ball first. And those are the plays that we're describing. So they don't have to just go turn and hand it off 38 times, 42 times for it to look like they've controlled the game. They're not going to let you play running back in this offense if you can't catch the ball. It's something that you're going to need to do, something that you have to do. And at the same time, Ryan Grubb is not afraid to find a hammer and play downhill. Look at Dylan Johnson late in the year, a couple of years ago at Washington. I mean, he turned into a guy that was running inside zone and duo 15, 16 times a game, going right at defenses because they knew late in games when they did build a lead, he could help them hold on to it and secure it. So this is not a game that I would look at it from an Alabama perspective and say, you got to get to 150. You got to get to 175 on the ground, because a lot of those yards could be clouded in the box score under the passing column, which they were essentially run plays with what the mentality was when they were being called. And I don't go too far out of the way with that with Georgia either, because they're a heavy screen team. And Zachariah Branch has been a much better catcher of the football than I thought he would be at Georgia. I knew he could run, knew he could burn. I thought it would be jet sweeps, use him deep a couple of times, make people respect it. But he's actually a better receiver than I've seen him be at USC. And he's a guy that can really make you pay on those screens. They get great blocking from the tight ends on the perimeter, which allows that too. So that's sort of their extension of the run game. And I would almost count those as rushing yards for Georgia as I would a traditional handoff, because of the percentages that they have to be able to go. And they're a lot easier on your quarterback. So both of those types of plays are going to be big for both these offenses in this game.
Do you buy into the idea, because I kind of do, that you probably see a little higher pressure rate from Georgia this game because of the style of team they've played so far, because of how quick the ball gets out in general against the teams they've played so far this year. It may not, I guess I'll say it this way, it may not be the best collection of competition they've played so far to reflect what this game may look like. And so I'll take that. That's one layer of the cake. The next layer of the cake, the reason I ended up going with Georgia slightly in this game is I've seen so many times how this Alabama team, specifically offensive line, just looks like it gets put in a blender from an execution standpoint, from a communication standpoint, from a penalty standpoint on the road versus at home. And if you showed me this magic 8-ball view where that offensive line holds up beautifully, not a lot of pressure on Ty Simpson, I probably think Alabama wins the game by double digits Saturday. Because outside, I think they got huge advantages. There may be advantages for Georgia on the perimeter, O versus D. I know there are. Bama, O versus D. I gotta see that happen. I gotta see that functionality happen on the road for this Alabama team before I believe it. How do you think that piece of it plays out?
I think it's going to have to be orchestrated. I think it's going to have to be drawn up. And you've listened to the show this week, so you already know the answer to this, but I doubt a lot of your viewers right now or listeners down the road know that there's not a Georgia defensive lineman on the team that's recorded a sack this year. They're tied for 115th in the nation in sacks. It's not what we're used to seeing. Other people kind of thought Evan Mendoza would solve some of these problems with being able to give you a little more twitch off the edge and being able to rush the passer, win some of those one-on-ones. So I don't think they're just going to be able to rely on front three, front four, maybe even with one extra pressure. I think it's going to have to be games, stunts. Guys are going to have to move. They're going to show things, get out of them. And Ty Simpson, keep in mind, he's been around there for a while, but the actual game experience is not deep. So environment, different looks, simulated pressures, could those things still be something that bothers him a lot? I think you're probably going to want to find out. Kirby Smart and company going to look at that and say, let's see what this kid's really made of, if he's ready to handle these situations. And if he does, he's got quick outlets. We mentioned the running backs. Cuevas has been great at tight end for Alabama this year. And where he could be extremely valuable if some of those things that we're talking about happen is he's great at just giving one thud, one shove, like getting a little, slab to the ribs and then getting out there for a quick outlet pass. And Ty Simpson's not afraid to challenge the middle of the field. And a lot of times when you get pressure, it's from one or two places, either right up the middle or off the edge. And if you want to try to go A-gaps on him, he's not afraid to put the ball there. That's not what a lot of quarterbacks in college football are comfortable with. He is. And so you have to be very careful with him attacking you there. I think it's almost kind of the story of the weekend in the SEC is pressure, how are you going to get it, and who all gets it. Like if you look at A&M and Auburn, it's the exact opposite. I don't think either one of those two teams are going to be pressure heavy in that game. But I think the front fours, you have to be very careful with what they can do to those two offensive lines that have kind of been up and down a little bit this year. You go to LSU, Ole Miss. We don't think there's going to be any problem for LSU getting pressure on anybody, but how much does Blake Baker really bring with the quick game and the mobile quarterback? You don't want them to be able to break you down because you got over aggressive and overzealous. And by the way, one of the teams tied with Georgia at 115th in the nation in sacks is Ole Miss. So are they going to get home against Garrett Nussmeier? If you run a twist off the right side, that'll probably be the way. And also, you referencing some of the Alabama offensive line as being in a blender at times. I'd like to know what you graded the tornado that the Georgia right tackles have been in a lot of the times in pass protection this season, because that's got to be like an F-42 with what some guys have done to them.
Hey, really quick timeout. We'll get.
All right. So a lot of stuff to unpack there, and we're due for a timeout ourselves. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll respond to what Cole had to say, because I definitely have some thoughts regarding his comments on this matchup. So we'll do that. Plus, I want to get y'all's response as well. Do you agree with what Cole was saying? Do you disagree? Let me know as well. We'll discuss when we come back right after this quick timeout. You're listening to the Miller's Edge, tied 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll be right back. All right. I'm going to run that back real quick just to respond to a couple
right back to the video this week for Bama.
That catch the ball.
During Sleep Outfitters Red Tag event.
Hey, at least we got the commercial while we're on commercial break, which is much better.
That's an extension of the run game.
So this first part, I'll break it down a little bit more when we come back. But while I agree with what Cole's saying, a lot of the time there's also other factors here, in my opinion.
Opportunity to get north and south and make a play in space than if we were to toss this thing out there. It also.
So the extension to the running game thing that we talked about, Roman mentioned it, and hell, I even mentioned it, right? A lot of pass-heavy teams use short, quick passing game, screen game as extension to the running game. I understand that part. However, where I'm also looking at the running game is in situations like you got a good matchup here between Alabama and Georgia, knowing that there's a good chance you go down to the end, right? What about 4-minute offense, right? So you have the lead. You have possession in the game, late in the game. You're trying to, move the ball, but hold the ball, right? And maintain that. You got to have a running game. If you don't have a running game, your 4-minute offense is trash. So, like, there's other things. Again, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, while I agree with stuff they're saying, I also don't want you guys to hear that and to say, oh, well, yeah, that's true. We don't need a running. Like, you still need a running game. And I don't think they even think that you don't need anything at all. That's just another big factor to me that I feel like you need to consider, right? Being able to run the ball in a situation like that. Say we have the lead late in the game, right? You feel much better knowing you can comfortably run the football and confidently run the football effectively in a situation like that. If not, you might just give the ball right back to them. They got a chance to run down the field and score. So there's so many things that also are factored in here, at least for me, the way I think of it. But he is right. The way they do implement the running backs in the passing game is definitely something that they probably view as quote unquote an extension. And to be fair, I talk about not being one-dimensional and keeping the defense true and honest. Yeah, screen game is another way to keep them true and honest because it forces everybody to run sideline to sideline. You have to do that. But the other part I was going to say is I know they mentioned you need the 150, 170 on the ground. When I say like you need the running game, I've never been one to say, oh, if we rush for this, we're confident we win. It's not even that. It's more so just having that ability. You just don't want to be one-dimensional. You never want to be one-dimensional. I think what Cole brought up is important to highlight. I don't think it points the whole picture, but it's certainly part of the factors that matter. Yeah, no, for sure.
So gives you the
other thing was, and I'm going to have to repeat this when we come back from that way our radio listeners here, so I don't want to spend too much time right now, but even like the pass rush thing, I know they keep throwing around, him and Roman throwing around that stat, right? Like, their defensive linemen don't have any sacks, which is fine, but number one, that's just, sacks and pressures are two different things. And two, that doesn't change my opinion in this matchup so much because I know that Kirby's smart enough to know if he's not getting home with 3 or 4 guys up front, he can bring pressure. He has, the playbook is very extensive, right? They'll find ways to bring safeties, backers, corners, whoever, in simulated pressures, fire zones. They'll find ways to pressure the quarterback. So that stat doesn't necessarily move me where I'm just completely like, oh, yeah, that's true. They don't have any sacks. Oh, we're chilling now. Hell no. Because I know they're going to dial up pressure. I mean, they're not dumb. They're not just going to be like, oh, man, we'll just hope this game we finally get more pressure with our front guys and just hope that. Hell no. Hell no. They understand that. Again, I mean, I was on the team with Kirby where our front guys weren't, we had injuries, weren't getting the most pressure. We found other ways to affect the quarterback, and I fully expect that. And we haven't shown the best. We haven't been, I guess, the best at picking stuff up.
Is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Option of throw.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, Free for All Friday edition. Final thoughts here about this Georgia-Alabama matchup. Again, listening to some other voices, some other perspectives, right? You've heard from us all week, so we're taking a quick little break from that. Definitely will circle back here in a minute, but time to respond a little bit. So we heard from this video again. Shout out to Carson sending us this video again at the Miller's Edge on X, all social media platforms. You can always do this, and we'll pull it up. We'll listen to it, we'll respond, react, all that good stuff. So just my thoughts. I definitely agree with Cole. Obviously, him and Roman have been discussing some stuff because basically he's echoing a lot of what Roman shared on this show yesterday. Again, we had Roman on the show. If you missed that, check out yesterday's episode. It was a really good interview when he was on with us. That being said, Cole talked about, the running game. You hear so much talk about it. Is it that important? I still believe, yes, it is very important. Are there other ways around it to have extensions to your running game? Yes, and he listed those, talking about those quick flares, quick little outlet passes, just dumping the ball off quick stick routes, things like that can pick up that little chunk yardage that's almost equivalent to running the football. So I definitely agree with him on that. But one thing that I was mentioning to our YouTube chat during the break was that another thing that he didn't bring up in terms of like the running game and why it's important, especially in a matchup like this. Number one, because of the reasons we've already mentioned, right? Keeping the defense honest, right? Not being one-dimensional, be able to have balance. But two, what does the running game do? When you run the football, you control the tempo of the game, right? The clock keeps going. And the other side of that is you look at a matchup like this, Alabama facing Georgia, where there's a lot of expectations that this game will be a close game, could come down to it, right? It's a 3-point spread right now on paper. That being said, what is the whole 4-minute offense about? That's when you're trying to control the clock at the end of the game, right? Playing keep away, right? You're trying to secure the victory. Well, that's all about running the football. And if you don't have a running game in a moment like that, that could be detrimental. So those are the kind of the things that I think even beyond, and maybe I'm just trying to find counters for everything people say just for the hell of it, I don't know, it's fun. But at the same time, I just know how football is. And those are situational things that require efficient and effective running of the football. And to me, I think that will be important, just like I mentioned, even just like the tempo of the game. That's one reason Georgia is very effective too. When running the football, they like to do it to impose their will to be a physical football team, but also it controls the tempo of the game. The good news is when you're a top 10 passing offense in the country and very explosive as we are right here at Alabama right now, you can kind of get away with some of that because say, they're trying to control the tempo, but even though when you do get the ball back, if you are effective at putting up points and you're explosive, it kind of mitigates some of that. But at the end of the day, if you can, you always want to establish it. But I know this has just been a big topic of discussion, so that's why we're talking about it. Even that being said, I'm going to go back to what I said initially. We still don't know, right? I mean, Alabama could come out in this game and rush for 40 yards. That's it, only 40 yards. But have a field day through the air, which I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities for explosive plays in the passing game, and come out victorious. They could rush for a bunch of yards, which we say is the key, but Georgia finds a way to just continue to, say they force some turnovers or whatever, and they still win the game. None of this stuff, like the whole, and I'm not saying he was saying that, but like the rush for 150 or 170, that doesn't, I don't ever go off of that stuff. There's so many other factors involved, but just to highlight some of the things that he's mentioned. And the last thing was the pass rush stat with their defensive line not having any sacks. My only thing to me is that doesn't really move me too much. Yes, it is something to say, all right, I feel better knowing that on a consistent basis, you feel a little bit better about our ability to protect going against a unit that hasn't been as effective, with just a base rush, 3-4-man rush. However, the reason it doesn't move me too much in this football game specifically is because, again, Kirby Smart, my former defensive coordinator, I'm very, well-versed with his defense, his philosophies. He's not just going to sit there and say, all right, we're not getting pressure on the quarterback with the base 4-man rush, whatever the case may be. He's going to dial up pressures. Cole mentioned it, the simulated pressures, the fire zones, right? They're going to do and throw a lot of different things at you. How do we pick up those things? That's what good coaches do. If you know you're not getting home with your base 4 guys, you find other ways to get pressure on the quarterback, right? Bringing safeties, backers, whatever the case may be, cross dogs, right? Field pressures, cat blitzes. There's going to be a lot of different things, and it's not just going to be obvious. Georgia does a really good job of disguising and getting in and out of things, showing different things, showing shell looks before and getting into different coverages. I don't think we really had a true test with that. Wisconsin, they might have done a little bit, right? They brought some pressure in there, but the way Georgia does it, right? There's different ways of doing it, and Georgia does a really good job at that. That being said, I'm curious to see how, number one, our offensive line picks and holds up with those things, right? Jam being back, helping, with, pass pro there is going to be big, but can our offensive line communicate and execute effectively when they do face pressure like that to keep Ty clean? Because if they do, I definitely think we do have a big game through the air. So just some things just to hit on, but I wanted to respond. If you guys have any thoughts, we'd love to read them. You can always drop those in the comments, plus respond via the phone lines. 205-342-9904 is the number. We're about due for our top hour breaks. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling, keep on responding. I still have to give my final keys and final outlook predictions, all that. So stay tuned for that. I will get to that again. I just wanted to jump to a couple others since we hadn't had a chance to really hear from many other people just yet. And we'll keep on rolling on the other side of this quick top hour break right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store. Don't forget, drop your predictions. You can do it right here on YouTube in the comment section. You can download that Tide 100.9 app and leave your score predictions right there as well. Plus, you can always call in 205-342-9904 and leave your predictions right there. Chance to win a signed football and some other good stuff. So make sure you guys get in on that. Right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. All right. What'd you guys think about that? What Cole had to say. Let's see. Want to hear your overall thoughts on Bama's chance to win. Oh yeah, I'm getting to it. Don't worry, Julian. But a lot of it's same stuff I've been talking about all week. But I'll definitely bring it up and put a bow on it. Don't worry. If you didn't listen already, highly recommend. Or if you don't listen, yeah, Jake. I'll be honest with you. I don't really listen to anybody other than occasional like ESPN stuff or I normally just catch like whatever they post online, man. I normally doing a lot of other stuff in the morning, so I don't really listen to other stuff. But but all the clips and stuff is always really good. I mean, I don't doubt it, man. Those are two of the best in the game in terms of sports broadcasting. I think what Cole brought up is important to highlight. I don't think it paints all the picture. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Carson. Definitely something to consider. And again, to reiterate, I don't feel like if we don't run the ball necessarily much better, it's not like we have to like have some like 9 days difference in the running game. It's just if we could at least establish something, right, to help alleviate some of that pressure. That's the other thing. I mean, asking Ty not running the football consistently, you're basically asking Ty to do everything himself. And I know he's been Superman the last 2 weeks, but again, this is a different challenge, right? So it's just always good to have. And again, these guys, they both play the game. Like they know how important it is. They're not saying you can just neglect it, but I'm just kind of circling back saying, all right, I know a lot of people recently are making it seem like you don't really need it, but which is fair. I mean, you don't need it as much as in certain situations, but definitely is very important. Justin says, I believe Ryan Grubb will have our O-line playing great and have little add-ons to help. The add-ons definitely will be helpful, like the chips from the tight ends, the backs, which he's already shown. That's already a huge sigh of relief. Like I said, I'll be honest. I mean, the biggest thing is, like Mimi saying, being physical, finishing blocks, and then also being able to pick up those pressures. I mean, if you can do those things, I really think you see a lot of success out of this offense. Just based off of what I've seen. Now, granted, Georgia's definitely probably going to be keying in on how they can play, better pass defense. So, I mean, they'll probably do some things a little bit differently. They probably learn some lessons from the Tennessee game, but I still feel like there's definitely some stuff to exploit in their secondary for sure. Ty will have time to throw the ball. I think we start off with little screens and pop pass, get Ty settled in. Absolutely. That's what Grubb has been doing within the last few weeks. And that's always good for your quarterback. Get him settled in, get him confident, get him in a rhythm. And then once things start opening up, you can take advantage of it. We hit that. Mimi said the physicality is going to be extremely important. Absolutely right, Mimi. Justin said he believes the D-line and edges get home all game.
Champion Christian Miller.
I definitely think that we need to take advantage of the weakness of their offense line, which is their right side, right? And I hope we try to get Quay Russaw or whoever your best edge guy that you feel is on the field, get him as many looks as you can on that right side. Hell, even if you mix it up, overload that side, stress them, man. Do some different stuff over there. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. We just broke down that clip from Josh Pate's college football show, Cole Kublik and Josh Pate talking about this game. Josh Pate, by the way, leaning towards Georgia in this matchup. I'm not sure if Cole ever said his prediction. It might be like Roman, right? He might be saving it, which is fair, right? That being said, I know somebody also mentioned in the comments that a lot of people are kind of leaning towards Georgia. I mean, look, they've got a home field advantage, right? You saw that they're coming off of a big win on the road over a Tennessee team that started the game really hot. Then obviously Georgia adjusted and fixed some things. But 33 winning, 33 game home streak that they have right now. Look, there's a lot of things in Georgia's favor, but I will say I do believe it's going to be a really good game. I feel like even though you do see a lot of people picking at Georgia, there's a lot of reasons to believe that Alabama has a really good shot and should be confident going into this matchup. Roman listed a lot of those things, and he hinted, again, couldn't give his prediction, but he hinted at who he's riding with, and he's definitely staying close to home if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. That being said, let's jump over to the phone lines real quick because I know we got Pat on there, 205-342-9904. Pat, welcome in. What you got for us?
Hey, man. I wanted to talk about Xavier Crowell. Have you seen his stats so far this year through the first 4 games? 700 plus yards in the first 4 ball games. And some of them he's only been playing a half. But just absolutely phenomenal. And to be able to get him and A.K. Deer in the same backfield in the future, I'm almost beginning to, how do you say, salivate. What do you think?
I'll be honest, Pat. I don't keep up with recruiting like that, so I had no idea his stats. But sounds like he's a really good player. If it's the back that we landed or had commit to us during the summer, I remember watching his tape. He's really impressive. I think he actually reclassed. But I'm excited for.
He's supposed to be younger.
Yeah,
It's phenomenal that he said he's doing that well. And, it's just amazing.
Well, I mean, if he can help, if he can help our running game out, I'm excited.
Well, yeah, but the problem is, we've proven that we can recruit 2 running backs, but we ain't proven that we can recruit a cut-picking offensive tackle and 3 or 4 defensive tackles to rotate in and out. We just hadn't proven that yet.
No, I agree. Well, now I was going to say that, to be honest with you, man, as great as it is to get these good backs, I feel like we've been getting really good running backs. That's not really moving the needle for me. I'm with you 1,000%. I think we need to get elite offensive linemen. Like, not knocking the young man. I'm excited about a really good running back. I always take good backs, but I just think we're due for some elite offensive linemen via recruiting, or even if it comes in the portal, I don't even care at this point. I want us to get back to having that that stone wall in the front that you just know, man, our offensive line is going to go out there. They're going to impose their will.
Hey, and we are due for 2 really, really, at least 2 really, really outstanding defensive linemen. But,
that too. That part.
Go in. People that can get 8-10 sacks a season or better. I'd like to see them average a sack a game.
Yeah, you're right. Just trench play in general. Speaking of trench play, what do you think about it in this game? How do you feel this game goes, Pat?
I'm beginning to think that a lot of the suits in Vegas have everything's changed, and it looks like they're trending toward making this a 3-point ball game. Half the point's been shaved off so far off the line, from what I understand, and and I really think that if they can keep Ty upright and give him at least 4 seconds to survey the field, he's going to pick them apart, because I don't think that their defensive backfield can play with our skill position receivers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think the key, and one of the main keys in this game is keep Ty clean, protect him, and let him work, man. He's been cerebral. We already know the skill guys that we have, man. I mean, arguably one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think that'll be big. And then defensively, man, we got to bow up. We got to be physical. And I know a lot of people, and I've even mentioned it, are focusing on, being physical up front. And yes, I do agree. We need to have a defensive line that is physical because they're going to try to run the football. They're going to test us. But I'll even take it a step further, Pat. I think tackling in general can be a make or break in this football game. Here's why. Georgia has a heavy screen game. I've been talking about it, right? And so even if, say, we're doing decent up front, stopping the run, right? If they start going to their screen game and we're weak coming and forcing the issue with our secondary and they're just picking us apart, we have a lot of missed tackles and they're picking up extra yardage and moving the football. I could see that being an issue. And tackling has been much better, but in week 1, it was extremely poor. And if we revert back to our old ways and we're not tackling well and physically, I see that being a huge issue in the game. So I think tackling in general defensively, man, we got to be able to bring guys to the ground, make open field tackles when they do work the perimeter on those screens, and make sure we're getting off the field on third down. I think all those things would be really important for our defense.
Absolutely. But like I said, that is not getting off the field and third down. But if they can keep Ty upright, I really don't think that Georgia's defensive backs can stay with our skill position players. I mean, like you said, that hey, this is one of the finest groups we've ever seen put together at any one point. And
in recent years,
I'm anxious to see Horton being able to get the ball, get 5 touches in open field. If Horton gets 5 touches in open field, I think he'll turn it into 2 scores. What do you think?
I would probably lean more towards Ryan or Bernard being that guy. Horton doesn't strike me as more of like that. Are you saying more of like a deep vertical threat, or you're just saying an open field in general? I'll be honest with you. Horton's that bigger body.
Yeah. No. If he gets in the open field in general, I mean, he's so big and so strong that I really think that he's going to be able to break tackles from those little weak D-backs that Georgia has.
Yeah, respectfully, he would probably be one of my. I wouldn't pick him as that guy. I would say Ryan is more of that playmaker to really, give the football in space, whether it's screen game, stuff like that, and just let him work. Just knowing his, after catch ability. But hell, you could be right. I view Horton more as that big body guy, deep ball type of threat, or 50-50 ball type guy. But
being able to go up and high point the ball. I just wish he could high point the ball like that running back we had out of California out there that a couple of years ago that had so much trouble staying out of Coach Saban's doghouse. And I always acted like he wanted to go home to Antioch. He was from Antioch. You think somebody from Antioch had to be more biblical than that? Come on.
I don't know who you're. Wait, you said a receiver from Antioch, California?
Yeah.
I have no idea who you were.
Our 5-star running back that caught the ball out of the backfield so much. I'm having a senior moment.
Najee Harris?
But Najee Harris, there you go. 5-star running back.
I thought you said receiver. That's why I was confused. I was like, I don't remember a receiver. You said a running back.
He could go up and high point the football.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a real good receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah, he was.
Very good.
Absolutely.
All right, my buddy.
You want to give us a score prediction before you go, Pat?
A score prediction. Oh, I got a score prediction. I got a 35-24. We smoked their butt. Hey, look, and I got a theme song. When you go out this afternoon, I have Chase play The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Oh, man. So Pat's coming with some confidence. I'll be honest, not by the title, but I'm sure I've probably heard it before. I mean, I like the name of it. The name sounds very fitting.
Hey, the night the lights went out in Georgia. The night they hung an innocent man. That's the lyrics from the song. But it was the night that the lights went out in Georgia.
You said the night that. Whoa, hold on. Maybe I misheard you. I don't know. Definitely not playing that crap then. All right. Pat,
this country song, country.
Yeah,
like they hung an innocent man.
Okay, yeah, that's our cue.
All right.
Yeah, we got to hit a timeout, Pat. We appreciate it, man.
All right. Hey, you have a blessed day.
Yeah, you too, brother.
And
Hey.
it's gonna be all right. That because we're gonna be fine. Hey, and we're gonna smoke Georgia, no doubt.
Let's hope we do that for sure. Pat, we appreciate you, man. You have a great weekend, brother. Good deal. Wow. Sometimes you just never know what you're going to get on live radio sometimes. So, Chase, Reed, we are not playing that crap. Please, we are not playing that song. We're not about to get our show canceled. I mean,
don't intend on it.
I mean, can we? Thank you. Can we not get canceled the day before Georgia, please? I mean, Pat, brother, do you not see me, Pat? Maybe sometimes these people might forget who I am. Pat, brother. I mean, I joke about being the 54% white thing, but Pat, come on, Pat. All right, we got to hit this timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
At Tuscaloosa.
I mean, I was cool with the song title. I had no idea what he was talking about. Then he had to go there. I'm like, damn, you could have just at least left it at the title. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that song in general, but oh, brother. Wow. That was wild. Well, I mean, what? Hold on. He's got to be now. My curiosity is like, am I hearing him right? Whose name is crap? I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna look at these lyrics. Then, what do you say? The night the lights went out. Oh God. You learn something new every day. Oh, brother. Oh, let me see. I don't have time to read all this. Let me see. I don't know. Let's get back to football. Song's about a guy who gets thrown in jail when his wife turns up. Wait, at the girl at singing. Judy Walker says, I can't believe you never heard that song. Let me give you guys a quick little background on me, guys. I am 29 years old, okay? That song came out in 1973. 29 years old means I was born in 1996, guys. I'm a biracial kid from South Carolina that was born in 1996. I don't know why that shocks you that I've never heard of that song. Oh, Justin said it's not a racist song. All right. Well, that's fair. And here's the thing now. I mean, I wish I could show you this. I mean, I listen to country music. I'm from South Carolina. I grew up in the South. I'm very, very well, versed. But I was confused because of what he said about the song. He said the song was about. What the hell is that? Oh, he said the song was about an innocent guy. That you heard the rest. So, like I said, I'm just going off what he said. I had at first I thought it was funny. I didn't know what he's talking about. Oh, this is the part where he's talking about. It does use the H word in there. I didn't read everything else. Yeah, I don't know. How about Darius Rucker? Yeah, no, we personally know. I mean, my dad's good friends with Darius. The name of the song. Oh, somebody says it's a cheating song. The name of the song is "The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia." Yeah, but he said something about
73.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wow. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. I guess everybody in the chat knows about that song Pat was referencing. Maybe one exactly. I was going off what he said, but I was confused. Again, I never really heard it. Now Judy said people are saying it's not really what he was describing. They said they actually played it after beating Georgia in the blackout game, which again that was what 2008. So I was 12, I guess. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't really remember that. I wasn't like a diehard Bama fan at that time. So like I said, I'm learning everything. I guess I learn new things every day. That's interesting. I don't know. So maybe it's not as bad. I don't know. I was trying to read the lyrics during the thing. I mean, it does mention the H word in here. I don't know what it's talking about, but allegedly it's more so about the wife stepping out or something like that. Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm like, it's like sparking my curiosity though, Reed. Now I'm like, damn, I kind of want to like hear it, but at the same time, like I don't want to. I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad anyway.
Yeah,
we do have a suit. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I hadn't heard of it, but it's not. It wasn't just you, like Pat. I guess just the way he described it wasn't. Just wasn't the best approach.
The way he described it, did it not sound like what we were thinking it sounded like? I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like, me and Chase both in here were like, whoa, wait a minute now.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, listen, I ain't trying to get canceled on the Friday before the Georgia game now, because I mean, obviously, you gotta be careful. Matter of fact, I mean, and I'm not diving into this right now, but I mean, this totally. Never mind, I'm not even going down that road. But you already know, nowadays you got to be real careful with stuff, man. Especially when you are on a platform for sure, right? I mean, people say whatever behind closed doors, but we're on live radio, so just trying to be careful. That being said, according to the chat, and thank you, chat. We always have great folks in the chat that help break stuff down. But they said it's more so about the wife stepping out on a husband. I think that's more. See, if Pat would have said that, I would have been like, oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's terrible, but boom. But his depiction or breakdown of what that song was, I was like, whoa. Definitely not playing that on here. But anyway. Yeah, so now, okay, so that song, Pat is just that whole song is like taking over the chat. Everybody's discussing that. Don't worry, I'm gonna listen to it on the break, not live though, and just at least hear it for myself. Back to football, like LK said. All right, so I guess it's time for me to give you guys some of my main keys here because we got plenty of time, and I've already discussed them. But just to kind of put a bow on everything, and I guess we'll start here, Chase, Reed, from our defensive standpoint. First and foremost, we already know. Let's get the main thing out of the way. Establishing the line of scrimmage, being physical, right? Knowing Georgia is a football team that wants to impose their will. Knowing Georgia is a football team that wants to run the football. Hadn't been as effective at it as they probably would like over the last year or two. But this year, it's pretty, I would say it's decent so far, right? Not at that elite level like they probably would like. But I will say, if you go back in that Tennessee game, they had, a series of plays. I forgot the stat. It was like 13 plays on a drive. I mean, 12 of them were running plays, and they were effectively running the football against a Tennessee front that looked pretty dang good in that matchup. So I will say, I think they definitely are trending in the right direction with their running game, and that's something that they really want to do. Mike Bobo is a very balanced type of coordinator, right? They want to establish that running game, but what comes after that? They run a lot of screen game, right? They're honestly a lot more than people probably realize. So that being said, my next key, and I mentioned it earlier, tackling. You've got to have good tackling in this game, right? And especially when it comes to tackling on the perimeter, tackling in space. Going back to week one, I get it. We've been starting to kind of form a different opinion about week one and saying, hey, that was then. But still, in that game, there was really poor tackling, lack of physicality. I showed the clips of guys running, just kind of putting their shoulders around, arm tackling. Can't do that in a game like this, right? You've got to secure the tackle. You've got to have good pursuit, especially in the screen game. Guys turning, getting out the stack. That's what we call it, in the defensive line. As soon as you recognize screen, you plant your foot, you redirect, and you go swarm to the football. It sounds like Kane Womack has been, really doing a good job trying to emphasize that over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully that shows up in this game, because defensively, that's what you're going to see. They're going to try to run the football. You got to bow up. They're going to hit you on the screen game, right? Defensive line's got to turn and get out the stack. The DBs, they've got to be physical in that support. They've got to attack the receivers that are on those blocks. You got to have guys coming at good angles, right? Safety play has to be good. That's going to be important. My next key for our defense, of course, I always say it's going to be concise, but you guys know me. I don't do that. I like going in depth for you guys. Next thing, Gunnar Stockton has been a much better passer than a lot of people truly believed coming into this season. So that's there, obviously. But what is he really good at? He's good at using his legs to make plays, not, a dynamic athlete by any means, but he understands how to use his legs to make plays. Whether it's quarterback design runs, he's actually the third leading rusher on this football team with 100-something yards on the ground right now. That's something to consider. Not only that, scramble drill, right? If you are getting pressure on him, right? We hadn't always finished well on the quarterback. That needs to be better, because a guy like this can extend plays with his legs. Similar to kind of what you saw to Lenore Sellis last year at South Carolina, a guy that will extend things, can pick up extra yardage, first downs if you allow him to do so. That has to be cleaned up in this game and will be a big key as well. And then I would say lastly, turnovers. We need those turnovers to show up. In big games like this, you've got to be able to steal possessions. We saw them come up, Bray Hubbard having multiple interceptions a week before against ULM, having some guys force some fumbles, right? Justin Jefferson coming up with interceptions. So I think that puts that at 2 last game, 2 the game before, or 3 the game before that. So like 5 total after. I don't think we forced any in week 1. So that needs to continue, and I think we'll be decent. I didn't mention necessarily getting pressure on the quarterback. Obviously, I think that is a big key. So I will just throw that in there. I just didn't want to have a million things, but here we go. Pressuring the quarterback, obviously. But in this game specifically, they've shown weakness, Georgia, that is, on the right side. I would love to see us exploit that. Try to get as many opportunities for our best rusher, whether that's Yonze Pierre has been looking a lot better, but Quay Rusaw showed some really nice explosiveness on that sack against Wisconsin. Maybe even running some pressure, some things over there to really stress those guys. I would love to see that show up in this game. Moving on to our offense. I still would love to see us establish a running game so we're not one-dimensional. However, I understand that we have a very explosive offense, and I think there are going to be a lot of plays to be made downfield. But how do you get to that? Well, you've got to protect the quarterback, right? That's the most important thing. It doesn't matter how good you are passing the football if you don't have the time to do so. That will be big. They've talked about all the key, or the stats for Georgia's defensive line. That's great, but just know offensive line play is going to be important here also with the pressures that we're going to see. And not just them, but even Ty. How does Ty respond to these things? Even pre-snap, are we able to get the right things called? Be on the right page. That way we can pick up these pressures and have the time to throw the football. I think that'll be key in this game. I think he's going to have a really good game. I honestly do. But I do see, sometimes that, hey, if Georgia is pressuring and affecting them, hopefully we see him growing from week 1 and understanding that, all right, we can have a negative play, next play, move on, and not let it affect us too much where we get out of a rhythm and things start going downhill. I think that will be big as well. So Jan Miller's coming back. Hopefully that's a big plus there. Obviously you expect it to be, but hopefully it definitely makes a big difference. I know it will, more so than just on the field, but just having him in general. If you go back and watch some of the plays he made last year's game, his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, pick up blitzes, his physicality, and his leadership, man, super fired up to have him back. And then I'll even say this, man, explosive plays, we got to make some of those. We got to have them. In these games like this, when it comes down to it, you're going against a really good defense. You got to have those big explosive plays. So Ryan Williams had a big game coming back. We need to see that. You know what you're getting out of Jeremy Bernard, Mr. Reliable. But I would love to have Ryan Williams show back up and be himself, do the things that we saw him doing last year's game. And then overall, keys, and I'll end with this to put a bow on it, right? Sorry, this went way longer than I anticipated, right? Scoring points in the red zone and not allowing them to score points. Like little things like that it's going to be huge, right? When you're playing good football teams, being able to keep them out of the end zone and hold them in 3 points will be big. So having our defense able to bow up, I think will be important. Special teams, I talked about this earlier in the week, but you got to remember, right? They're going to have good plays defensively, right? We're not just going to be punching all these points that you've seen the last couple of weeks. Can our kicker show up? The field possession game, all those things. We gave up a touchdown on kickoff last week. You got to secure those things. All those little plays and details matter, and they come up. And personally, I feel like it's going to be one of those games where you look back and it's going to probably come down to just a couple of plays in this football game. So you got to be able to capitalize on everything when it comes your way. So those are my main points, which I've probably covered every little thing that you could probably imagine in a football game. That being said, I do think it's going to be one of those games where it comes down to it. Who can finish? And that might be like my final and biggest key, guys. We already know the whole traveling on the road thing. I can't say anything about that other than just challenge them to show up and play travel with that mentality and intensity that they've had the last 2 weeks, even though that was at home. Do it on the road here. That's going to be big, obviously, being disciplined. But really finishing 60 minutes, right? You got to have a 60-minute game in a situation like this. Last year, we started out hot. Everybody was excited. You jump all over these guys, and we had a coming out party in the first half. What happened in the second half? Georgia adjusted. They figured things out. They damn near really should have beat us, really, right? Outside of a couple plays, Ryan Williams, making some magic happen and a couple other things happening. But I say that to say you're already behind the 8 ball going to their place. They're going to have the momentum. They're going to have the crowd environment, man. You got to be ready to go. You got to be disciplined. You got to be ready to play 60 minutes in this game because best believe, even if we start hot, which I should have mentioned that too. That's another big thing. I think we need to really start fast in this game. You can't get ahead of yourself. You can't be complacent. You got to be ready to go and down to the wire until that clock hits 0 because you're playing a really disciplined football team, really good coached football team that has already displayed the ability to play 60 minutes in the game, just like we saw them go do against Tennessee. Now imagine them being at home and having that advantage as well with it. So it's going to be a dogfight for 60 minutes, but I think if you can do as many of those things, the million things I just mentioned, if you can do as many of those things as good as possible, as well as possible, and execute, I think we'll be good. I'll save my prediction towards the end because we still got a few more minutes, but that's my overall picture on this game. Now, again, that was way more than a concise thing, but we made it through. We made it through. So it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also looking forward to getting the sip of this water. So let's go ahead and take this time out. When we come back, I want to go to you guys again, 205-342-9904. I want to get y'all's predictions, y'all's thoughts, y'all's keys, all that good stuff. We'll keep on rolling right here as we keep getting you guys ready for the big matchup again. Alabama traveling to Athens for a night game tomorrow. Blackout, whatever that really does for them, right? Let me ask you this real quick. Do we ever have like a whiteout, crimson out? Do we do stuff like that? Reed, Chase, you guys know? Chat? Anybody?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I think that'd be great to know, but I don't know. I've always just gone there and just screamed as loud as I could,
I was just always playing and then not playing, I'm broadcasting and doing other stuff. So I've never really paid attention to it, but I'm curious now. I know basketball does it. Basketball does I think they'll do a whiteout for basketball. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess football is not. I guess we're too bougie for that football. I don't know. All right, let's hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling right here. Tied 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
Your flagship home. Oh,
that's a fair and decent take, big guy. Do we even count that as a take? I mean, I feel like I listed so many things. I don't even think that's really a take anymore. I mean, I think that's really just going over a whole. I don't even know. That was way past the take, I feel like. I mean, I listed so many things. It's almost like it's like I can't even be wrong at this point. I said like a million things. Normally, you say like 3 things. I said like 12. I never remember any game where we've done a whiteout. Yeah, no, I didn't expect that, but I just was curious. Okay, hold on. Wait, let me play this song. Hold on. Let me play this song. It's I'm sorry. It still got me. Let's see. I don't know why this song is like intriguing me so much, but who is it? Reba McEntire or something like that? Is that who that is? Oh wow. Okay, the Reba, is it Reba or Reba? I'm listening to. I'm watching the music video. All right, here I'll let you guys know. This feels like a old school like crime series or something. Like the music video, I mean, like the songs in the background. It's literally like it's like I'm watching a TV show. I mean, it's kind of catchy. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, so initial thoughts. I'm not done listening to it, but yeah, I don't think it was the way Pat was describing it. He just said somebody was H worded, an innocent guy was H worded. Now, I mean, obviously, guys, I mean, we live in the South now. You hear that? I mean, it can't help but kind of your brain goes to one thing. You're like, oh, whoa, whoa. But I think it was more so like yeah, like a couple thing. It wasn't the R word, right? It was oh wait, I guess there's a okay, hold on. Golly, man. Yeah, okay. So it was not okay. So I apologize if I offended anybody by making it seem like I immediately was jumping to conclusion. I promise I wasn't. Song's not bad. Yeah, yeah. The way I listen to it too. I promise. And I'm one of those people, man. I try to stay the hell away from any of all this stupid politic bullshit and all that. But it's just the way he said that. I was like, oh shit, we're on live radio. He just said that. I was like, bro, that's the last thing I need right now. Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not at all. No, it's about a couple. It's just, but do you guys see how me, Reed, and Chase would hear that just to go, oh, it's about an innocent man being H worded. Boring. Let's get to the predictions, brother. We've been talking football this whole time, and we're on commercial. We're on commercial break, buddy. Not to mention you're a Georgia fan, I'm pretty sure. So if you think I'm gonna be listening to you, I'll listen to our listeners, our chat. I ain't worried about you, dude. I mean, why don't you ask everybody in the chat? I told you I'm saving my prediction for later anyway. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, Superfly. I'm sorry, man. I had to get that
Edge on top
thing out of the way. Dude, I appreciate that reminder. I'm so sorry. It's that Daryl with a fake page. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. All right, so for our radio listeners, I just got to give you guys a quick update. All right, so we reviewed the play, and there was no flag on the play, right? And I'm referring to Pat was talking about that song. So I think Pat's description just kind of threw a lot of us, at least some of the younger folk, me, Chase, and Reed, right? Look, we're young, right? No, and I'm saying that I got to stop with the. Sounds like I'm going after our older. I'm just saying, like, we don't know all these songs, stuff like that. So that description, we were like, whoa. But after reviewing it, we watched the music video. It's actually very, very creative. It reminds me of this show that I used to watch that was really good. It was it was like a crime series, but it was like filmed in like the 80s, man. I loved it, man. I love like that old school kind of vibe to it. Twin Peaks. Anybody seen that? Reed, Chase, I don't even think you probably, unless it was on Netflix. I'm not going to act like I was like, oh man, I used to watch this, but I watched it a couple years ago. Have you ever heard of that, Twin Peaks? It's like a old crime series.
I think I've heard of it, but never. I don't think me or Chase, either of us, have watched it.
Yeah, bro, it's a good show. Anyway, that kind of gives me that vibe, like just like the music video for the night that the night the lights went out. Like it kind of just gives me that vibe. It's like that old school crime kind of vibe. I don't know. So I kind of like it. So that being said, Pat, my bad, brother. Your description was a little off, but it's all good, man. All good. No. And I'm not talking about Twin Peaks, the bar. Relax. See. Hold on. No, Dwight said in the chat, if I was talking, no. Twin Peaks is a TV series. It's like a 80s like crime series, but really, really good show, man. All right, let's get back on track. All right, so we got a super chat from Superfly. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much, man. And again, thank you for your service as always. He says, I keep hearing a lot of Bama commentators say that our defensive staff has trouble communicating play calls to the defense, getting them out there too late. Is that something you notice? I'll be completely honest with you. So I know several players have actually mentioned that. So it's not really like anything that I guess like it's like speculating because players have said that. And matter of fact, they mentioned it last year. There's a couple of times, like in interviews, they're saying, like, just getting the plays called. It's not like they just said, "Oh, he needs to give us a." They weren't trying to say it like that, but they indirectly pretty much said, "We need to get the calls a little bit faster." So to answer your question, that has been something that's come up. But to be fair, to I guess defend Kane Womack or the coaches, I mean, they're trying to with the new helmet communication, Superfly. It's one of those things where you can directly communicate with your guy, and it is on a time limit. You have like 15 seconds or so, but they're going to obviously want to see the offensive personnel, see what they're lining up in. See, before we didn't have that, so they literally just had to look. You see Kirby on his tippy toes trying to see who they're sending in the game. That way he would know who to, what personnel we were going to. Then he's trying to call a play. Then we were going off of signals. And so you had to have a little bit more urgency because there was no communication. I feel like sometimes maybe with the new stuff, sometimes you maybe get a little carried away because he's probably thinking, all right, I'm trying to look and see who they've got coming in, what they're lining up in, right? And so he's probably trying to get like the most perfect call as possible. And maybe that's why he's dragging it a little bit and it might be a little too long. But that's something that they can clean up really easy. I mean, it's just a matter of players, obviously discussing that with him, which I'm pretty sure they will or they've had. And he just got to just make sure he's getting it in on time. But then it's on the players, right? Because the process is, even like when we used to do signals, the process would be the coordinator signals in, right, to like the mic or the linebacker who's, going to be in charge of communicating that with everybody. Now, granted, everybody's supposed to look and get that as well, but he's like it's supposed to be him relaying everything, but you're still expected to also get stuff yourself and not just rely on one guy. But to answer your question, yes, that has been an issue, right? Calls coming in a little late, and they just got to clean that up. That's important. But with the helmet communication, it's like on one hand, it should be way faster because you literally are directly communicating to a guy, through a voice channel. So it's not like the guy has to squint and get every little sign that you're doing. You're just telling him what he's doing. But I also feel like part of it is probably because like you're a little too confident knowing you have that voice channel. So you're trying to wait to get as much information as you can. So yeah, I'm not going to drag this answer out too long because it's probably not that complicated, but that's personally how I feel, or what I feel like is going on. And I feel like this is the best way to fix it. Just make sure they understand, hey, the players are saying, hey, we got to get the call faster. Cool. He just needs to get it in better. But that's a good point. And as a defender, it's important that you have everything because especially when teams are going fast or they're motioning and doing certain stuff, like you don't want to take up so much time over just trying to get a call or a signal when you need to be getting lined up, understanding what you got, because rules change depending on formations. It's not just like, oh, I got this call, I'm automatically doing this. Typically, it's like I'm doing this depending on this set or this set. You get what I'm saying? So like you got to have ample amount of time to get the call, get aligned, understand what they're doing or what they're doing pre-snap, because that can dictate what you're doing post-snap. So hopefully that answers your question. But thank you so much for the super chat. We always appreciate you guys supporting us here. Definitely means a lot. So thank you so much. He responded. He said, "That's what I was thinking. It should be easy to clean up. It makes sense, though. Still getting used to it." Yeah, no, I mean, man, It literally is just, just send the call in quicker. I mean, that's something he can control, right? And the players control their part. So, yeah, it should be pretty easy to clean up. I definitely think so. All right. That being said, let's read a couple of these other things. No, we got phone calls. I'm sorry. We need to do that so we don't run out of time. 205-342-9904. We got Ellis up. Ellis, welcome in.
Roll Tide there, Christian.
What's up, Ellis? Roll Tide, man. How's everything?
Oh, everything's going fine. Sun shining. I feel good about tomorrow. I'm not nervous.
You're not nervous at all?
Nope. I know we're going to go down there and win. We're going to bring home victory.
Well, I love all the confidence that everybody has.
Yeah, there'll be people waiting for them to come back so they can celebrate.
So how do you see it going? I mean, if you're that confident, tell me what you think. What do you think happens, Ellis? I mean, you see it being when you say confident, are we talking like you're just confident we get the dub? You're confident it's like a 2-score win? I mean, how confident are you, Ellis?
Oh, we're gonna get a dub. I'll go ahead and tell you my score if you want to know my score.
Wow. All right.
35-28.
Fair. You see it being 35-28. That's got us winning by a touchdown. Let's just play a fun game. I mean, you see it being like it's tied up 28-28. Bama scores at the last minute to take the game. Do you feel like we score, then we get a good defense to stop, or? And I mean, you might not have thought this far. I'm just curious.
Something like that, or open a like a swooping score or something like that right there. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? The ball on the ground, one of our defensive players picks it up and runs it back like 85 yards for a game-winning touchdown. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Man.
I'm with it, brother. I'm with it.
I'm smoking a beef brisket tomorrow.
That sounds good. Hey, if you got some leftovers and you're driving through this way, man, you know where to find us. I'm sure. Oh yeah, we might need to have a taste test, brother.
Yeah.
No, that sounds real good. Well, I love it.
On a pellet grill.
You know what? I have one of those too, man. They sent me one when I was playing, and I love it. And it's running strong, man. I've got a Traeger pellet grill. I love it, man. I've made all types of stuff on there.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Mine's a Rec Tech.
Oh, nice.
Pellet grill.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Ellis has 35-28. So I like it. I mean, that sounds like an Alabama-Georgia score. I'll take it. Well, Ellis, we got to hit this timeout, man. We're going to try to squeeze in these last phone calls, make sure we get everybody on here. But, man, you enjoy that pellet grill? Oh, go ahead.
Ty Simpson's going to have 365 yards passing.
365. Who do you think is going to be the top target? Who do you think is going to be the top receiver for him?
Hollywood.
I'll take it. Hollywood making another strong impact against the Bulldogs 2 years in a row. I like it, Ellis. Will you be safe this weekend, man? We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Good deal. We got to hit this last time out. That way we can get to these last few phone calls. Again, 205-342-9904 if you guys want to drop your predictions here on the show, or you can always drop it on the comment section or on the Tide 100.9 app as well for us on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We need to focus and not have false starts and a lot of penalties. Facts. Blackout shit they're doing doesn't have any effect on the game. No, I agree. That's why I think, what was it? Like, we listened to an interview earlier in the week, guys, where it was like they're asking, like a media guy asked him, like, what do you think about the blackout? And I was just saying, like, I'm telling you from a player perspective, like, I promise to God that I've never, and I'll say we've never, because nobody on our teams ever paid attention to I don't care if everybody in the stands had cowbells. I don't care if everybody in the stands were wearing some crazy, distracting mask or something. I mean, whatever they think. I mean, I promise you, like when you're on that field, you literally have. People always ask, like, what's it like playing in front of so many people? I don't think I could do like. It's not like you like public speaking, right? Like when you're playing football, I mean, like you've got so much adrenaline going, and you're so locked in and keyed in. The only time that really has that strong effect is really just the noise. Like if I'm being completely transparent, because it disrupts communication, right? Other than that, it's not like, man, like I'm lining up, focused on this snap, but I'm worried about none of that even is a thought. It always was just really like if the noise was being disruptive. Like for example, like Tennessee, probably the loudest stadium I've ever played in. Tennessee, A&M, and I mean Auburn gets loud. I'll be honest with you. But I just remember like we were on punt. This is a punt situation. I was on the punt team in 2016, and or was it 15? We played at Tennessee. 2016. And when I tell you, it got so loud, I mean, like, because we used to do pro punt personnel, but like our personal protector, he was the one that did the snap, and like so, like he basically was like 5 yards behind us, right? The guys on the punt team, and when I tell you, I mean, I literally could not hear anything. I mean, I literally just heard like, I mean, it was like disorienting, like how loud that stadium was. Like all you just heard was just loud crowd noise. And I just remember because I'm like sitting there waiting. I'm like, bro, what is he waiting on? And so I like turn around and I'm like looking at him, like lean forward, and I just see his mouth shouting, but I don't even hear him. And I'm not gonna lie, that was like one of the first times I was like, damn. That makes a big difference. You know what I mean? But see, I also was on defense. So like offensive guys are a little more used to that. They're used to like, so when you see them like freaking out, like when they can't, get on the same page, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like being out there and having to communicate through that, it is tough. Defensively, like we would have to worry about that at home. But I'll be honest with you, we did so much stuff just like, hand communication that it wasn't like the worst thing to deal with. Right, like I could literally just look at my defensive lineman, and we could just like we had signals for whether it was like a jam, like we would just do stuff like clear. I mean I don't need the crowd noise means shit to me. Like I literally just do a signal to them, and we're on the same page. But I turn and look at the backer, right? If I'm dropping in coverage, we have signals for all that too, so it wasn't bad. But offensively, like you see quarterbacks, they have to go. There's no signal they're doing for like what protection they're going. That's why you see him walk up, and then they have to, talk amongst each other. You don't see offensive linemen and quarterbacks doing signals. That's why it's so much more difficult for them. So I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that, but that's definitely a point to think about. Why defense, the noise doesn't affect you too much, is because there's a lot more signals involved than offense. All right, so let's see. We got some score predictions coming in. Superfly's got 38-28. Deborah's got 34-30. LK's got 24-20. UJ has the ball, 3 minutes to go. We get them in a 4th and 6 at the 45. Bama holds and Tide takes a couple of knees. Dang, I love the description, man. All right. Ryan said he did this earlier, but he said 31, tied at 31, going into overtime. Ends up being 37-34. Damn. I hope it's not an overtime game. Not only is that going to be stressful, but that means I'm going to be up later doing my post-game show again. Stay tuned on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, which you get via Tide 100.9 if you listen to it there, or whatever source, wherever you're at, that you normally listen to the Crimson Tide Sports Network. I do the post-game show with Gray Robertson. So we'll be breaking down this game, hopefully for the good. But even for the bad, we'll be breaking it down, and we'll be talking about what happened in the game. And I go into a lot of detail on there, so. Let's see. Ty's ability to check plays, align pre-snap, in my opinion, shows he's prepared and smart. Yeah, no, he does a really good job pre-snap, man. He definitely does. He's a really smart guy. The idea of the blackout is to bring more energy to the fans and make as much noise as possible. No intimidation from the looks. Gunner starting offense had no false starts last week in Tennessee. That's impressive. 41-30. All right. And welcome back into this Raw Friday edition of the Millers at 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Been reading these score predictions in the comments section here on YouTube again at the Miller's Edge. If you guys ever want to tune into the stream, a lot of confidence, guys. Reed, Chase, I see a lot of confidence in the chat, man. A lot of people definitely confident that Bama goes in. Some people have some double-digit victories, right? Like a 10 or so. Others a little bit slow, a little bit narrower. And even some overtime predictions. So I hope it doesn't go to overtime, man. It's already going to be a late game. I got to stay up and do the post game. I hope it's not that, but we'll see. I just saw this too. Bill said, "What's up with these millennials?" Well, I'm like barely on like the millennial. That's what I'm saying, guys. I'm 29, man. I think that's like barely in the category of millennial. I'm like the last year for that, and then like almost being like, what is it like? What's the next one, guys? What Chase? What are you and Reed? Y'all are what? Gen Z?
I think we're Gen Z, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like the last year of millennial before Gen Z. So that's what I was trying to explain. So with all due respect, guys, if I don't know like some of these old things, now I will say I've definitely heard that song, by the way. I hate to keep bringing that song up, but I definitely heard it, by the way, after listening to it. But it's hard for us to sometimes just know immediately like, oh, you don't know that artist, that song? No. Not off the title, but I've probably heard it before. All right, let's sneak Cedric on here real quick and get his score prediction before we get up out of here. Ced, what you got for us, man? You sounded confident when we talked to you yesterday. What you got for me? Ced, you with us?
Hey, man, how you doing?
There he is. What you got, man? You sounded confident yesterday, Ced. What you got today, man? I need that score prediction.
Oh, man. Hey, it's all love, baby. It's all love, Chris. Listen,
right.
This is a letter to my co-fans. Look, we have a good team. And we need to get behind these guys and not have so much skepticism, anxiety. You understand?
Yeah, I do, but let me ask you this though. You don't feel that some of it, and I think you're probably talking more so to like fans, but you don't think some of that though was a little warranted after week one, how we performed? Not that we lost. Again, I've always said this, even going back to last year. It's never been just the loss itself; it's the fashion in which we lost. Statistically, if you look at this, Kalen DeBoer, he shows up big in big games. It was the fact that all our losses pretty much came in games that we were favored to win. And then how we played. So that's my only thing. I'll just say that. Again, losing to Florida State, if we played hard and physical, that's one thing. But we didn't. So that's the only thing I'll add to that. But I got you. Hey, but listen, we're riding with our guys.
I get that. I get where you're coming from. And just like when Coach Saban was here, we lost a lot of coordinators. Some of them, they was told to move on. Some of them was hired on. But those coordinators going to come and go. And I think we're going to lose some here if this coach is going to survive. And he's a proven good coach.
That's true.
You have to have time. You have to have time to get it together. And hopefully his help got their stuff in order, or they'll be packing their hat. That's very clear. But make no mistake about it all. The coaches don't play. Now, as fans, we got to understand that at the end of the day, we got to have a nut check. The boys got to have a nut check and say, let's go get it. Let's make some plays out here.
That's true.
And I think they can do that. I think they're up to the task, and I think they are conscious of their future.
Absolutely.
I think they are conscious of that. That's why they're here at the University of Alabama. I think they are conscious of their future. It depends on their performance.
That's true. Speaking of performances, how do you think we perform tomorrow? What's your score prediction?
Very well. I'm looking at 31 points.
And how many for Georgia?
No, 31 for Alabama, 20 for Georgia.
Oh, wow. So you got 31-20.
Yeah, I got 31-20. I'm going to ride till I die. I'm going to ride till I die, RTR.
There you go. We'll take it. I got it written down, or I'm going to write it down.
So, let's to all our co-fans and our radio mates and chat mates, let's get behind our guys, man. Let's get behind our guys. Let's encourage them. Let's encourage them and let the chips fall where they may. Let's hope they have a good game, man. I'm praying for them and everybody in the program, and hope they got a good night's sleep, all that. Hope they get a good night's sleep tonight, and let's rock and roll. Let's show them what we're made of.
Let's do it. Say, we appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you a little later on, man. Thank you for letting me talk.
Absolutely, always, brother. Good deal. All right, we got to get out of here. I'm throwing mine in there real quick. I'm going 35-31 Bama, but I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm giving us a benefit of the doubt because it's my team, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna lie to you. Would it shock me if Georgia does take the dub? No, it would not. But I'm sticking with my guys. I'm gonna take Ced's advice. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll see you guys Monday right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 12:30, WTBC.